Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Thank you for taking the time off your busy schedule to join us today. We hope you will learn a lot as we have lined up for you a good number of timely insights on digital transformation tactics to grow your business during and post-COVID-19. To start, let me introduce myself and give you a brief background on Vexceed Technologies Limited and what we do. My name is Elizabeth Igwe, and I'm your host on today's webinar. I'm a brand communications specialist, and I lead the team here at Vexceed. We currently operate in 3 markets globally, helping brands excel through digital engagements. Some of our services include mobile app development, e-commerce web development, content marketing, SEO, branding, digital strategy development, and so on and so forth. And we are proud to say that we service some of the most exceptional brands in Nigeria, in North America, and the Middle East. With me today is our keynote speaker, Mr. Chukwuma Osaho. Chukwuma is a fintech enthusiast and heads digital partnerships at Access Bank PLC, Africa's largest bank by retail customers. He leads a team that is focused on helping customers succeed with technology. Chukwuma drives co-creation of technology-powered solutions for digital businesses by leveraging on tech capabilities at the Access Bank Group. So today we'll talk about impact and how COVID disrupted businesses globally. Then we'll show you some tips on how to evolve and transition your business to stay profitable and thriving in the COVID economy. Next, we'll round up by giving you some digital strategies that you can start implementing right away after this webinar so that you can get started on your digital transformation journey. And of course, after this, we'll take 15 minutes to read through your questions and answer them. Okay, Mr. Okay, so we'll start with impact of COVID on global businesses. Now on impact, before we start, let's take a look at the current statistics worldwide. Here you can see as of this morning, the coronavirus pandemic has reached almost every country in the world, with the number of cases continuing to surge and fall, even as progress is made with vaccines production, testing, and distribution worldwide. Okay, now let's take a look at how COVID impacted businesses globally. Here, as you can see on your screen, these are some of the major impacts of COVID on the global economy. I think I can be sure that everyone present here today can identify with one or more of these impacts, whether as an employee or a business owner. You see, what we saw was that even age-old, seemingly prosperous organizations fell during the peak of the pandemic. That's how crippling and disruptive COVID was for many businesses around the world. For how COVID impacted businesses, please take a moment to tell us how COVID impacted your own organization by clicking the poll button on your screen. So your polling has started. Please tell us how COVID impacted your own organization by clicking the poll button on your screen. So next, we'll go to how organizations scrambled to mitigate the effects of COVID. As cases surged and lockdown restrictions were imposed, organizations scrambled to make a sense of things and keep their businesses open. And here, as you can see on your screen, are some of the steps that organizations took to cushion the impact of COVID on business operations worldwide. As you can see, 68% of firms decreased total hours worked per week, while 64% of firms decreased the total number of temporary workers. 57% of firms decreased the total number of permanent workers, while 59% of firms reduced wages. You can also see that 16% of organizations worldwide adjusted or converted certain products and services into something totally different from what they were originally offering before COVID. We can also see that 36% of firms started or increased delivery of goods and services. And we can see that 52% of firms increased their online business activity. Okay, now let's take a look at the level of impact by industry. Now look at how COVID affected some of the core industries around the world. It's interesting to see that while many businesses in certain sectors went under and filed for bankruptcy soon after lockdowns were imposed, some organizations in some other sectors prospered and doubled their revenue by up to 55%. We see companies like Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, and even bringing it home to Nigeria, companies like Jumia and Paystack. These guys cashed out big and doubled their income during the coronavirus pandemic. Here on your screen, when it comes to impact levels, you can see that the food and water sector was minimally impacted, along with retail, agriculture, home and personal care, fintech, telecommunications, advertising professionals, and pharmaceuticals. These guys continue to lead even as the major earners during the pandemic. On the medium impact column, you can see that healthcare, hospitals, and clinics were minimally impacted by COVID because they were deemed essential service providers. And they continue to stay relevant even now in the COVID era. Now you see that breweries and other consumer goods not deemed highly essential dipped minimally, but not with so much impact, because we also saw a spike in the consumption of alcohol and other non-alcoholic beverages as people stayed home during the lockdown. Electricity was also minimally affected, as staying at home meant that more people were using more electricity, and power generation was also listed as an essential service provider because hospitals and quarantine centers needed power to function. Now we see the high impact column. This shows the sectors that were hit the hardest. In the beginning, travel was one of the worst hit industries as all travel came to a complete stop. And even now, as travel restrictions continue to lift little by little, airline companies continue to operate at an all-time low because of the travel restrictions that are still in place. We also see that education took a huge hit as a lot of children and students stayed home. They had to go home and not participate in physical classes anymore. Now, for schools in the developed communities, we see that they staggered a little bit, but in a couple of months, they came back to school via online infrastructure. Okay, now we'll look at companies that prospered during the pandemic. And so let's take a quick look at why some companies continued to thrive during the pandemic. I think simply put, these guys were providing essential services. What's essential to everyone in the world right now has changed. As you see, most of these organizations like Amazon, Microsoft, Jumia, Facebook, these guys are tech giants and are providing one form of digital or e-commerce services or the other. These organizations were strategically positioned, I believe, to reach their customers at home and to stay relevant in the face of so much going on around the world. You see, they stayed flexible and continued to innovate and adopt more digital transformation processes and strategies. That's why you see that companies like Amazon gained $401 billion in market capitalization. Jumia, the Nigerian company, was trading at $6 in January 2020, and right now they're trading at $64 in the stock market. And you can see that Facebook also gained about $85 billion in market capitalization during the pandemic. Okay, now let's look at companies that were bankrupted during the pandemic. Still on the level of impact, we see how huge corporations bowed under the pressure of the pandemic. They became unprofitable and filed for bankruptcy. largely as a result of weaker digital structure and capabilities. We see companies like JC Crew, one of the largest US retailer, they filed for bankruptcy just a few months after the coronavirus was declared a pandemic. We also see Dangote Cement, a Nigerian-based company who lost $900 million due to the downturn in the cement and construction industry. You see companies like Muji, the Japanese-owned lifestyle retailer, he shut down about 18 stores across the United States owing to challenges presented by COVID-19. Okay, so these guys, they basically lacked the digital infrastructure to continue in the face of the pandemic. Now let's look at the special breed of companies that these guys, they went under, but they regrouped and adapted quickly to the new normal. The secret was digital transformation. You see a company like RXR, a real estate company based in New York. These guys, they made swift decisions to create a mobile app that enabled home relocation, scheduling, deliveries. They basically moved real estate online through their mobile app. We also see Majid Al Futtaim, the retail conglomerate. These guys converted their physical stores immediately into fulfillment centers. Then they redesigned their mobile app so that it could be easier for their customers to use. And they carried out a lot of other digitization processes that brought them back into business. Okay. Now we have a bunch of other companies who adapted swiftly to meet the demands of the new normal, simply because they adopted a digital strategy, they digitized their processes and embraced digital basically to stay profitable and successful in the new normal, the COVID economy. Okay, now let's see what are the features. Why did these guys why did these guys succeed during COVID? But before then, please take a minute to answer the poll question on your screen, and by clicking the poll button on your own screen. Thank you very much. Now, why some companies continue to thrive in the peak of the pandemic? As you can see on your screen, the reasons are, they sound simple, but it's actually a very intelligent and deliberate effort to embrace digital transformation. We see that the companies that survived and continue to prosper right now in the new normal, they had existing digitized business models, or they created one swiftly and immediately. They also had flexible business operations models. They also had digital operational processes. When we talk about your Zoom meetings, when we talk about remote working, when we talk about hosting virtual events, these guys had they digitized the operational processes basically. Okay, and they also had a swift and intelligent response to the pandemic. They were also flexible in adapting their business or service offerings to meet the demands of the new normal. Take, for instance, the Carrefour grocery chain, who converted their physical stores into order fulfillment centers, where people would place orders, order their groceries online on the Carrefour mobile app. And then instead of coming into the store to pick it up, Carrefour would bag those groceries in store and then just put it by the curb for customers to come and pick it up without contactless pickup, basically, without coming in contact with other people. And this helped them continue to do business and stay safe during the peak of the coronavirus pandemic. We also see that the companies who prospered during the pandemic were sustainability focused organizations. And we also see that they were organizations offering essential services. All right. Now, if you want to see how well your organization is transitioning in the COVID economy, please take a minute to answer the questions you currently see on your screen by clicking the poll button on your own screen. You see, this will give us a more robust Q&A session at the tail end of this webinar. So to round up on impact, I will say that while many parts of the economy have begun to hum again, a lot of small and medium businesses are still struggling. And this is where digital transformation can come in and become the game changer. You see, because at this point, a digital strategy is no longer a nice to have. It has become top on the list of every business's survival plan in the COVID economy. And on this note, I'll pass the ball to Chukuma to tell us more about the digital transformation strategies that you need to adopt in 2021 and beyond. Over to you, Mr. Chukuma.
Okay, thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'll just share my screen in a few minutes. You'd have to give me permission to share my screen. It says host disabled screen sharing. Okay, I think I have that permission now. Okay, just let me know when you can see my screen, when my screen is visible.
Okay, yes, okay, we can see your screen.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for putting this together. My name is Chukuma. Like Elizabeth has said, I work with Access Bank PLC. Access Bank happens to be the largest bank in Africa by retail customer base, and we're on a mission to make Nigeria Africa's gateway to the world by providing innovative banking services and solutions. As a business leader for the bank, basically we work with customers to provide innovative technology solutions for their business, ranging from digital payments, digital financing, and every other kind of technology solution that sets your business on a very strong footing as we step into a time of digital transformation. I work in a group known as Partnerships and Digital Capabilities. Our goal is to partner with you in the long run to make sure you succeed, grow your revenues, cut your costs, grow your customer base. Same thing that Vexceed is doing with you. I'm aware that speaking with several clients of Vexceed from different parts of the globe, and it's exciting to join you today in sharing a few tips around digital strategies that would help your business to succeed. This is the new normal. Things have evolved, things have changed a lot today. And basically, the reason why we're not together in the same room is because COVID has moved us from normal meetings to virtual meetings, remote working, e-learning, e-commerce, and a lot of people have reduced travel and discretionary spending. And the reason why we have to come from this angle is because if we are saying we want to know digital strategies, how to navigate going forward in a post-COVID era, it's cool to know where we are, first of all, and so we know where we're going from there. And so this is where we are basically. Give me a few seconds to resume my slideshow on this side. I think I lost my slideshow. Okay, yeah. So this is where we are, and just a little bit about what digital transformation is all about. I know it's a cliche word now. Everybody's shouting digital transformation, digital transformation, digital. It's not different from exactly what you already do in your business. It's just simply integrating digital technologies into all aspects of a business to meet the markets and the changing business requirements. So you have existing business processes already, and we're just taking digital solutions and integrating it into what you already have existing. So one of the guys good at this is Apple. Just like Elizabeth shared in her slides, Apple gained $219 billion in market share, in market capitalization during a pandemic when everyone was closing down. And this is because they've invested a whole lot in digital transformation. Even before the pandemic struck, they've been doing a lot of investments in digital transformation, and these investments will continue. So a research from IDC predicts that globally, investments in digital transformation will top 2 trillion, right? 2 trillion is in Nigerian currency is about 980 trillion naira, right? 980 trillion is, let me put things in perspective, is about 126 years of revenue. So we currently make revenues of about maybe 9 trillion. I mean, our budget, our revenue budget is 9 trillion. It will take about 126 years to make the kind of money that companies are going to invest in digital transformation by 2022. So that's how large the scale of digital transformation is. And so why that huge scale of investment? Why are people investing 100 years of a country's revenue in digital transformation? And the reason is it helps you reduce cost via automation. It helps you improve your customer experience. Revenue, of course, which is the goal for every business. It helps you grow your revenue and it helps you achieve efficiencies through automation and even more effective marketing. Right. So I'll share a story. A friend of mine, she was sharing with me how, and that's talking about cost reduction. So she was sharing with me how before COVID, in her company, when they go to work, they have breakfast. The company pays for breakfast, pays for lunch, and it's larger. It's very big lunch. I think they work in like an oil servicing firm. But when COVID came and everyone was told to go work from home, it means that the company will no longer pay for breakfast. They'll no longer pay for lunch. They'll no longer pay diesel generation, diesel running costs. And so that's a whole lot of cost savings, right? It's not good for the employees. They want their food back. They want their breakfast and lunch, right? But you see, for the company, they've saved a whole lot of costs. And so virtual meetings and stuff. That's just an example of how digital transformation can reduce costs of doing business, right? Even though they want their food back, but just thought to give that an example. And efficiencies through automation, more effective marketing. You're able to reach your audience faster. It'll be faster to reach your audiences through digital technologies than to stand on the road as a town crier and be hitting some drum sets and say, buy this or get this from me or that. And so that's the idea behind investing 2 trillion in digital transformation. So we'll now look at a few strategies that you can adapt as a business. Now, just to say, I understand that there are several kinds of businesses on this call from different parts of the world. And so what we'll do is we'll share a few generic strategies. And then from my understanding, a whole lot of businesses on this call are in retail and hospitality. So we'll take a few strategies in those areas. And then hopefully if there are any ones we miss out that are related to your own industry or sphere, we could take that during the engagement session and with Elizabeth. So on this screen is a report by McKinsey that 70% of large-scale transformation programs, they don't meet their target. So it says $1.4 trillion is typically spent in vain. Again, $1.4 trillion, you could say is about 100 years of revenue for maybe a typical country in Africa. And so if you're going to spend 100 years of labor of the country in vain, 100 years, if you're going to spend it and it's going to be in vain, then it's key to know where you should spend it rightly so that that kind of money is not thrown aside. So the question is, should I just rip off and throw away all my existing infrastructure and start investing in new technologies? Or do I take it step by step, one by one? I think the first thing you need to do as a business is start with a vision. Like I said, it's a buzzword, technology, digital transformation, but it's not about just throwing around the buzzwords. Basically, you should have a plan and start with a vision. And I'd like to talk about the vision along 3 lines. And these 3 lines I learned from a close friend, and it's called MMM. And it's not the MMM that you know. And I'm sorry if you were born by MMM. I'm sure they warned you, but you didn't listen. So the MMM that we're talking about here is not the Mavrodi MMM. The first M in our MMM is markets. And so you should have a vision for markets. We're not giving you digital strategies that do not tie to your vision. The digital strategy ties to your vision for markets. And the 2 things around markets are revenue growth and customer growth. So you want to enter new markets. I want to take my business from Africa to Asia, to Europe, to Australia, to the 7 continents. I want to grow my revenue from $1 million to $10 million. I want to scale. So that's the markets, the vision for markets. So the question is, what digital strategies do I apply to take my business from X to Y in terms of revenue growth, or X to Y in customer growth, or X to Y in terms of presence, market presence, right? So start with a vision. So you should have that vision clearly stated out. And we'll talk about a few strategies for market growth and penetration. The next M in our MMM is methods. So methods speak around how you operate, processes basically. So your processes, your cost processes, your internal processes, right? Like we shared, and you want to keep doing physical stores, you want to keep doing physical sales, or you want to go online, or you want to go digital, right? So that's methods, or virtual, right? And the third M in our MMM is message. So you should have a goal for your message. The idea is you want your message to reach the world. Vexceed Technologies, when Elizabeth was sharing, says how Vexceed has presence in several continents across Africa. And that's their specialty. They help you spread your message to all the continents in the world, right? I'll talk about the areas where I feel strong and special in, and Vexceed will help you out with such specialties around taking your message all over the world. So are you going to go digital media, or are you going back to Stone Age town crier system, right? So you should have a vision. So put this in perspective so that when we start talking about digital strategies, we're not just talking about the latest technology that doesn't have a vision or is not tied to your vision, right? And so that you don't just be like, I didn't want to say my mom, so that you don't just be like some people who have the iPhone 12 and do not know the functionalities in the iPhone 12, right? Your technology should be tied to the functionality for your business, to the processes, to your vision for your business, right? Number 2, the second M, talking a bit focused about the second M, is get your processes right, right? This speaks to methods. It's not about just digital transformation on paper. It should integrate into your workflows. So let's go. Like I said, I'm going to I'm going to generalize a bit with the assumption that a lot of us on this call are businesses and in retail. However, we can go specifics as the call proceeds. So let's talk about process. It's not just to talk about digital strategy, but so break down your process and your entire process. This is a supply chain. This is a process that happens between when Nkechi or someone orders an iPhone from your business, right? She just walks into a retail store, and there's a whole lot of processes going on behind. There's raw material, there's factory distribution and all that. Now, to succeed in the digital age, you're not only going to automate or digitize your front-end process, the process that allows you to communicate with your customers, but the back-end process, your entire supply chain, you have to find a way to digitize it and reduce the cost of these kinds of processes, right? So that's just an example. And I may not know your entire process. Again, this is where Vexceed will help you. They're the experts at crafting your digital strategy for you. That's taking it, breaking it down. But I'll just be talking about generic strategies that you can employ. Now, so let's talk about the front end process. I think the first thing you need to do, and I know all of us know this, is to move your engagement processes online. If you're going to succeed in a post-COVID world, you should move everything online. If you're a store or a retailer, you should have digital processes for ordering online, paying online, and delivery, right? And allowing the delivery process. So let's talk about engaging your customers online. You have a store, you sell whatever, maybe TVs or laptops or phones, and you want to move online. You want to make buzz. You want customers to be attracted to you. What are a few things that you can do in moving your business online? So I'll just share with you a couple of things that the big guys are already doing, and then you can put them into your own strategy. Now, the first of the things that the leaders in retail are doing in terms of transforming the retail space is augmented reality shopping. So the image you see here is a virtual store. So you can be in your home, I can be in my house, and put on my virtual reality glasses and go into a store, and I'll be sitting and moving around a store from the comfort of my room, right? You know, these things, before now, if we were told about these things, you say, this is witchcraft. This is witchcraft. Well, I assure you, this is not witchcraft. It's applying digital to your life and to your business, right? And so you should be able to go around a store virtually and look at what you want to shop, and put them in your cart and click checkout, and you move. And so you are seeing a store virtually from beginning to end. Fantastic customer experience, right? And that is what you should be thinking about in your digital strategy. If you're going into 2021, 2022, 2030, you shouldn't be thinking of Stone Age strategies. You shouldn't be doing the same things that we did 10 years ago. No, you should be future looking. And this is one of the future looking strategies you can adopt for your business. Let's look at Amazon, right? Amazon is one of the largest retail outfits in the world. And just to remind you what Elizabeth said, Amazon gained $401 billion in market capitalization during COVID. Just repeat that again, $401 billion. That's a lot of money. And it's because of a few strategies like this. So this lady in the picture wants to buy a lipstick, right? And goes on Amazon, and she can actually try out the lipstick virtually on her lips before she buys it, right? In real life, nobody, if you go to a store in Nigeria or in China or South Africa or anywhere you are joining us from, if someone came into your store and he took your lipstick and he tried it out on his lips, you will beat the person up, or and he will have to pay for that lipstick. Or he tried it on and says, no, I don't like this color. He takes another one and tries it. I don't like this color, right? Now, so Amazon has found a way to enable customers try out lipstick without having that kind of problem or without creating a scene. Now, it's a simple tweak, right? It's quite easy, but the impact it has generated for Amazon is unprecedented, right? So that's an example. Create virtual touch points where customers can experience your products and services or experience your solutions right at the comfort of their home, on their mobile phones, or wherever they are. Because the more they can experience your product, right, the more likely it is that they will buy from you or they will click checkout, and you can achieve your vision of revenue growth and customer growth. Remember, all these strategies are tied to the vision that you have, like we shared. So let's look at industry leader in fashion and footwear, Nike. Now, this is a picture from Nike. It's a technology that allows you to be able to know your shoe size. Now, if you grew up in Nigeria, like me, you would remember maybe at a point in your life when your dad or your mom bought you an oversized shoe. You wore the shoe and it was oversized. And the only consolation they gave you was that, don't worry, you will grow up into the shoe, right? So keep moving. By the time you're in primary 5, the shoe will size you, right? A lot of us have had that experience, I'm sure. So Nike came out with a simple solution, right? Quite a novel solution that helps you know your shoe size before you buy. So you are right there at home and on your mobile phone, you take the Nike app and you scan your feet and you see your size 9.5 and you can shop. And so many people will prefer to shop on Nike because it helps them know the exact size of their shoe, right? If you're able to know the size of your shoe with an app, you would most likely shop with that app. You wouldn't have to leave that app and go onto another app to buy your shoes. So you would most likely order your shoes on Nike. And I think a statistic showed that during the pandemic, Nike reported an 84% growth in digital sales because their pivot to e-commerce helped them to gain power all through the coronavirus pandemic. So a shoe company is making profits in the pandemic because of applying digital strategies like this. And I think it's fantastic. And I think that if you're in this space or in this business, you should go check it out and see how you can apply a few of these solutions to your business. Help customers to experience you in the comfort of their home. Now, this also excited me. This was very fascinating for me. And this is a furniture giant, a furniture maker. And they also created an app that will allow you to be able to basically try out the furniture you're buying from them in your house. So if you want to know how the sofa or the couch will look, you take a picture of your living room and then you superimpose the furniture in your living room and you see whether it looks good or it looks bad. And even if you don't have the money to buy it, you can take a screenshot of it and post it on your WhatsApp and say, I just got my new virtual seat. So it's cool. You can use it to, in Nigeria we say catch cruise. So you can buy a very expensive furniture online, put it in your house virtually, and celebrate online. Yeah. All right. That's on a lighter note. So that's about the first vision of being able to have a vision for your business before applying the technologies. The next thing that you need to do is to actually invest in the right technology, right? You remember the story of Kodak, remember the story of all of these, many companies who failed at a time when technology was moving in one direction. They were moving in another direction, investing huge money in technology that was going obsolete, right? So don't be that. Even though Kodak has recovered a little this time, they've done some fantastic stuff, and hopefully maybe for the end I'll share if time permits. But there was a time when they made such a huge mistake of investing in the wrong technology and they went out of business. So that when people were moving into digital photography, Kodak was heavily investing in films, those black and white films where you go and wash it in the studio before your picture comes out. And that's how they lost out on business. So invest in the right technology. I am hoping that you'll be able to see my screen. So this is a list of technologies that the World Economic Forum projects that will be adopted between now and 2025, right? And I will help you navigate through these technologies. So if you see the screen on the right side of the screen where the technology bars are, you will see a line. There's a black line that cuts across these bars. Now, the black line basically separates projections in the year 2018 from projections in the year 2020 after COVID had hit. So, for example, if you see cloud computing, in 2018, nobody believed that cloud computing will be a relevant technology. But by 2020, after COVID has hit, cloud computing has jumped to become the #1 technology that you must invest in if you must survive in a post-pandemic era. And a couple of us understand what cloud computing is, and so basically it's being able to, there's a whole lot of applications to cloud computing, but the idea is moving your business onto a virtual cloud, not a real cloud, right? But allowing all your applications, allowing all your business processes to be managed on cloud such that you don't have to be in the office to be able to work. If everything, your documents, your processes, your approval systems, your sales systems, your customer management systems, they are all online and hosted on the cloud, right? You are more likely to succeed than a business where customer information is in the branch in South Africa. Processes for approval must be done in branch, right? So that's how cloud computing jumped overnight to become the #1 technology for application. So it's something you should not ignore if we're talking about strategies for succeeding in a post-pandemic era. The second in the list, and maybe I'll just take #1, #2, and maybe #3 and #5. The second on the list is big data analytics, right? I'll talk about data analytics somewhere, but if you notice, it didn't really shift per se. If you look at where the line is, there's no change because, of course, data analytics had been growing in terms of a technology you must adopt. And I'll share that with you in subsequent slides. But one of the ones that jumped also very largely, look at number 4. Let's look at number 4, and it has the largest jump, is encryption and cybersecurity. So you're seeing a 29% jump in the need for encryption and cybersecurity. Now, why is that? Because if you're moving your business from physical locations, right, to cloud locations, to online locations, to electronic, if your store was physical and you needed, and there were physical robbers, thieves, armed robbers who will come and break into your store, the armed robbers have also moved online. So we have e-thieves and e-robbers and the likes. So you have to spend a whole lot in securing your database, in securing your business. You recall, I don't think I'd like to share that here, but there are a lot of hackers, hacktivists all over the world today. If Amazon is making $400 billion in market capitalization, and this money is somewhere online on the internet, then even the hackers too, the hackers and the criminals, they are also migrating. They are also adapting digital strategies to wipe away your money. They are not sleeping. They are also probably in a webinar like you and I now, learning digital strategies to wipe away your money. And on top of their strategy is electronic hacking, how to steal your online money, how to steal your resources, how to steal your data, your information, your proprietary information, your trade secrets, your business secrets that you are now hosting online because of the pandemic. And so you know what, this is the major, it's one of the major areas you need to invest a whole lot in cybersecurity and encryption, so that we don't just come and we share digital strategies. You go and apply digital strategies and you wake up one morning, your website is hacked, all your account balances have been moved, your trade secrets have been stolen, everything is gone, right? So invest a whole lot in encryption and cybersecurity. I talk about e-commerce and digital trade. We've spoken a whole lot about that. So for time's sake, I'm sure Vexceed will make these slides available to all participants from all across the world. So I'll just jump to the next thing that you need to take note of. We must get our employees and our customers involved, right? Bringing the best technology in the world is useless if you don't have the best employees in the world. If you don't have employees that understand the technologies, if our employees cannot switch on a laptop, and you bring in cloud computing technology, you bring in AI, robotics to your business, is a good waste of resources, because they will not be able to operate or manage those technologies. So you must get your people involved. You see, digital transformation rides on 3 pillars: people, processes, and technology. We've talked about the process already in the first 2 slides and talked about the technology. So your people need to also move in their mind. So you need to empower your people with the right digital skills. So while you're thinking about strategies to increase your profits, increase your customer base, move from Africa to Asia, you also should have a strategy for how you will move your employees in their mind from manual to automated in their mind. Move your workforce from manual technology to higher level of technology skills, meaning that there should be strategy for training your employees to gain the required skills for the post-COVID era. So think a lot about your employees in your strategy. Think a lot. And honestly, it's a huge investment that you have to make in training your employees, but don't count it like as a waste, right? Because if you have the smartest employees, you most likely have the best company and you most likely make the best revenue. Where I work, a whole lot of innovation where I work is employee driven. A lot of the smartest ideas that come out of where I work are solutions that were profiled by employees. And so if you have the best employees, you would have the best ideas. And so that should be part of your strategy. I just thought to note that so that we're not just talking about a whole lot of digital strategies without thinking about this. Yeah, so that's about strategy. And I'll just try to wrap up. I'm coming to the conclusion of my presentation. A few things you should embrace as your business is mobile first. Mobile first. You know, your customers are somewhere. You have to find where they are and sell to them. You should know where your customers are to sell to them. If you have a product and you're selling it in the wrong place, you would most likely not be able to sell anything. And just to give you a picture of truly where your customers are, by 2025, it's predicted that 80 billion devices will be connected to the internet. Now, I know that 80 billion seems to be much more than the number of human beings in the world, right? And that's because maybe one person has like 2 or 3 devices. And apart from mobile phones, the devices we're talking about also span across different kinds of devices: laptop, iPads, iWatch, anything, eyeglass, iPen, right? It's called the Internet of Things. Even when your fridge, right, is communicating with you. Your fridge is connected to the internet. Your TV is connected to the internet. Your air conditioner is connected to the internet. So it's called the Internet of Things. Now, so you should have the ability to sell, to move your products across the digital economy, the digital ecosystem, right? You should be able to move your products from mobile to someone's digital TV to someone's internet connected fridge, so that when you open this fridge, because I think a time is coming when you open your fridge will tell you that you are supposed to have a bottle of champagne in this fridge, and that this fridge is not complete, right? And that's on a lighter note. But guess what? That's where technology will take us to. So if you're someone who sells, who deals in retail in wines and premium drinks, right? You should have that kind of mindset and that kind of technology, that someone's fridge should be able to communicate with him and say, "Hi, John, your fridge looks like it needs a bottle of champagne." And a bottle of champagne can be delivered to you right in 5 minutes. And John can say, "Cool, please order me a bottle of champagne." And it's embedded into digital payment systems, which I'll talk about in a few slides. And someone knocks on your door and delivers a bottle of champagne. Why? Just because you opened your fridge and your fridge was talking to you. And I bet you, and I tell you, the world will get there. So the idea is that you should get there before the world. You should not be behind. You should get there before them. You should be the one that is creating the idea that people will leverage on in the future. So talking about mobiles and putting other things into perspective, there's also a projection that about 152,000 devices will be connected to the internet every minute. And as I'm speaking to you now, it is projected that about 4,800 devices are being connected as we speak. So you've got to be able to capture that 4,800 devices. You've got to be able to capture that 152,000 devices as part of your market and sell to them. And so be mobile first in your thinking. And I think I recall that Vexceed shared that they can help you build responsive mobile applications and stuff that can help you capture this customer base that is shifting to increasingly mobile solutions. And the next thing you should focus on or embrace is digital payments. So I can talk about digital payments for 5 hours because that's where I sit, and that's my specialty. And I work in a bank, and that's what we do. So we provide innovative payment solutions, very, very innovative payment solutions that would make it easy for your customers to not move an inch, but pay for a product, right? Right there on their phone, tap, your account is debited, payment is made, or like you're beginning to see happen, you have voice pay, and you just speak to your voice pay powered application, and your app begins to make payments. Your app says, "Do you want me to pay your school fees? Yeah. Do you want me to pay for this product? Yeah, go ahead." And it makes it easy for people to make payments. So digital payment is what you should put in your digital strategy. In fact, should be your number one if you want to benefit from the digital economy, because there's money in the digital economy. You won't be able to enjoy that money if you don't have digital payment systems. And so at Access Bank, we provide a whole lot of innovative payment solutions that can allow your customers to receive payments from all over the world, right? And if you share your payment needs with your digital partner, Vexceed, they would most likely get across to us, and I think working together we'll be able to create such payment solutions for you. I think the penultimate slide, yeah, you also need to shift towards digital labor. I was amazed during the pandemic that here in Nigeria, drone delivery commenced during the pandemic. I saw videos of drone delivery happening. And so you should also consider digital labor, stuff like drone delivery, contactless delivery, whatever would help your customers to be able to receive their products without necessarily having to gain contact. And now we hope for the better that COVID will disappear in a short while. We pray for that. However, you and I know that a whole lot of events that have taken place, or a whole lot of things that have become the new normal, will not disappear after COVID. So some things will remain. Companies will not just tell people to come back and start working and start incurring new costs. No, they've saved costs from virtual work. So they will solidify the process of virtual work and virtual activities. If it's cheaper to deliver with a drone, they will deliver with a drone than spending hours if you live in India or if you live in Lagos, and of course there's traffic in New York also. Than spending hours in traffic, they'll most likely deliver with a drone or with another technological system, right? So embrace the shift to digital labor. And you also need to embrace data analytics. Remember we said that the second largest technology that people should invest in based on the data from the World Economic Forum was big data and data analytics. And this is very important for a business that wants to succeed in the digital age. You need to have a whole lot of data. You need to have a whole lot of data. Data that will help you be sure that you are selling the right products in the right place. Insights, a whole lot of insights that will help you make decisions. Now, as far back as 2012, right? It's a story that I love a lot. It always inspires me and intrigues me. In America, Target is a store, like a retail store. If you live in Nigeria, that would be like your ShopRite or your Ebano supermarket, right? And if you live across the world, that would be like, yeah, Target stores is a global name. Yeah. Now, what they did at Target was to take customer data that helped them to be able to predict when a female customer is pregnant. Amazing, right? So what did they do? They were scoring through their data, and they realized that, okay, on a normal day, people buy a whole lot of lotion. Everybody goes to buy lotion now, right? But they realized that women, right, who were on the baby registry, right, were buying larger quantities of lotion, right, around their second trimester, right? I'm not a pregnancy expert, right? So I don't even know what is second trimester, but I know that it's a season within the pregnancy of a lady. But Target stores was able to use data analysis to know that by the second trimester, we noticed that many more women are buying this lotion, right? Then sometime within the first 20 weeks, they noticed that they are buying calcium, magnesium, supplements, and zinc. So they did some permutation, and they were able to come up with a model that when they see this behavior, when they see a lot of lotions being bought, a lot of calcium and magnesium being bought by a woman, there is a high tendency that she's pregnant. Okay, so you have used data analysis to bring these conclusions. So what do they do with this? What did they do with it? Very simple. If a woman is pregnant, we sell baby products. We sell baby items, cards, lotions, creams, baby clothes. So what do we do with the information? Let us send targeted adverts at these women with discounts. Say, buy this baby cream and we'll give you a $10 discount. So when a pregnant woman sees an email asking her to buy a baby cream and she will get a discount, even when she has not yet given birth, she will most likely buy it because she's getting it at a cheaper rate now. She doesn't know what will happen between now and when she gives birth, if the prices of things will go up. So you have more revenue for your business because you are sending targeted advertisements at a discount, right? So that's what you should do in your business. Somebody comes to your business for the first time, you should gather as much information as possible to know that this guy, the reason why he just bought this school bag is because his daughter has just gained admission. And then begin to think of the things you can sell for a student that has just gotten admission into school, high school, like you say there, or secondary school, like we say here in Africa, right? So that's the idea. Or I came to your store and I bought a cake, right? I bought a cake, and I think that you should be able to be inquisitive enough to know if the cake was for me or for my mother or for my wife, and so that 365 days after, I should get a mail saying, we at so ABC Cakes, we love you, and we're just saying happy birthday, and we're giving you 10% discount off your next birthday cake. Guess what? I'll go and buy my cake from there, right? Because you are shown the ability to take data, right, and use it for your business. And so that's one of the things that business is today. And if this is the only strategy you take, I think it's going to work well for you. So you should be able to take data, the whole chunk of data, analyze it, create business insights out of it that will help you grow your revenue, grow your customer base, and reduce your costs. So I think that's how powerful data analytics is. And even as I close out, just to say it's a journey, right? Digital transformation is a journey. It's not a destination. It's an evolutionary paradigm, right? And it takes into cognizance your culture, continuous learning, and leading to defined benefits. And what is key is that at the end of all these things, you should be able to take action, right? Take action with all the information and all the strategies we've shared, right? And I just did a small mnemonic of what action should mean for you. It means it should mean that you are agile and adaptive, right? You should be very adaptive and very swift and agile. Don't be caught behind. It should be a culture. Digital transformation should be a culture, right from the top to the bottom, right? And that's the T. Everyone should embrace it as a culture. Innovation should be your culture, and it should be part of your organizational behavior. It should be your everyday life, right? Thinking about new strategies, new ways. Your employees should be fired up about bringing out new ideas, right? And the N is embrace new technologies. Don't be still. Thank you for listening, and I hope that I've been able to just share a few of the things you take consideration about, and allow Elizabeth take it up from here. I'm happy to give clarification to those areas and those sectors that we may not have said specifically due to time. So Elizabeth, it's over to you from here.
Okay, thank you so much, Chukwuma. Thank you for everyone who's paid attention and who's joined us today. I hope you've been taking down notes, because Chukwuma shared very powerful digital strategies that you should not ignore. Thank you so much, Chukwuma, for the amazing lecture. So we have some questions. We'll take some Q&A session, and after that, we'll round out this webinar. We already have some questions here, and I'll just go with the first one that says, how do we measure the results of digital transformation? So Chukwuma, would you like to take that question? So the question is, how do we measure the results of digital transformation?
Oh, fantastic question. I think that if you to do this, you have to go back to what I shared initially. I told you digital transformation is not standalone, right? It has to be tied into your vision. So it is when you have set a vision, right, and you now bring in digital strategies to help you achieve that vision, then it's easy to measure. So I'll give you an example. If your vision was move from 1 million customers to 5 million customers, right? And you say, okay, I want to achieve this goal by digital transformation, and I have assigned this digital strategy, this digital strategy, this digital strategy. By the time it's time to measure, you are not measuring something abstract. What you are measuring is, where am I? Have I moved from 1 million to 1.5 million? So that we don't obscure it. And this is one of the things that happens with all this digital transformation talk. It looks so obscure and so digital that people think it's not measurable. No, it's measurable. It's your initial KPI and your initial vision and objective that you're measuring. So if you're measuring customer growth, I think that is quite easy to measure. So if you applied a digital technology or a strategy, or you went to Vexceed and they told you what I want to do to grow your business to 5 million, and then by the end of the year, you are on 1.2 million. I don't think it's hard. You've measured it. You've seen that the strategy did not work. You only moved from 1 million to 2 million. By the way, I don't think whatever Vexceed tells you would work. I'll just give you an example. So you would work, you would get to 4 million, right? So it's easy to measure. If your strategy was to cut costs, right? And then you said we're moving to virtual technologies, we're moving to online meetings. After 3 months, you look at your costs in quarter one, it was 1 million. In quarter two, it's still 1 million. Nothing has changed. So the idea is you're not measuring the digital strategy. No, you're measuring the normal KPIs or technology goals you have for yourself, which you only try to facilitate using technology. So I think the answer to your question is take the initial goals and strategies and put them down first of all, and then measuring them becomes easy for you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chukuma, for that answer. So I'll go to the next question on our list from an anonymous attendee. How do I get followers on social media? Okay, I think I can just answer that one real quick. How you get followers on social media? I think you can do this in different ways, but I'll just give you two major ways that you can acquire new followers on social media. So the first way you can acquire followers is by creating engaging content and promoting this content. So say you study the current followers that you have, you study your industry niche, you study, say you sell baby products, for example. You already know that this means that your target audience is moms and moms to be. So you know that you should be creating content that moms and moms to be will find exciting. Now, the minute you start creating content that moms to be or moms or people who are already moms will find exciting, and then you start promoting this content, trust me, you're going to get an influx of followers, and not just any kind of followers now, but followers that are tied to your audience demographic, that are tied to your business demographic. Basically, these are new followers that will definitely buy from you and engage with your social media posts. So that's number one, creating engaging content and then promoting this engaging content will definitely get you followers on social media. Then this second way, I'm just going to tell you this second strategy, because this is what most people who do not want to go the harder route of actually thinking and creating smart, engaging content that speaks to your target audience, the second thing that they do is they buy followers, really. And yes, while this makes your social media profile pages look good because you have 10,000 followers, 50,000, 100,000 followers, it's not best practice, because you just have a bunch of people following your social media profile that probably won't buy. However, there is a way to turn this around, because that's what we do at Vexceed. We think about ways to improve your digital presence regardless of how you amassed that presence. So when you do buy followers in the second way to get followers, you can begin to still create engaging content. Then you study the type of followers that you acquired, and then you begin to create content that speaks to this audience, and definitely they will begin to engage more with your brand. They'll begin to pay attention to what it is you're selling, what your brand message is. They'll begin to engage, and before you know it, they'll become paying customers. I hope that answered your question. Let's take a look at the next question we have. What social media platform is best for my business? This is from Mr. Ume. Okay. Chukuma, do you want to answer that, or would you like me to take that?
That's your area. That's like your area.
Okay. All right. So you want to know the best social media platform for your business. It's very simple. You ask yourself, first of all, what is my what is my service? What is that business? What am I actually selling? Am I selling pancakes, for example, or am I selling tea, or am I selling electronics? So if I'm selling electronics, then honestly, every social media platform is great. You just need to figure out which one you're most comfortable with using. And then you also need to, because you don't want to get overwhelmed, you want to pick one or two or three and focus on those platforms so you can get the maximum returns on whatever platform it is you choose. So honestly, I can't sit here and tell you because you sell a certain type of product, you should say use Facebook only or use Instagram only. No, I would say that you should just basically check out the platforms that you enjoy using. All right. And then just pick one or two, maximum three, that you would focus all of your energy on. And if you focus your energy on these three platforms that you choose, you will definitely begin to see results over time. But of course, I think for content creators, if you're a content creator or a professional, an advertising professional, I would advise you to go for Instagram and Twitter. Why Instagram? Because Instagram is a visual platform. People are engaging a lot with content on Instagram. So if you're a content creator, you should think about focusing your efforts, your energy on Instagram. But other than that, just pick one, two, or three platforms. Or if you have enough capacity to manage all platforms, then no problem. You can create profiles on all the social media platforms currently available. And of course, it's resource intensive. You have to get a lot of social media managers managing those platforms so that you can get maximum input and output from those platforms. Or you can pick just one, be consistent, create amazing content, and you'll definitely get returns on investment on your social media marketing efforts. I hope I answered your question in finding out what social media platform is best for your business. Pick one or two or three, concentrate on it, stay consistent, and you definitely see returns. So moving on to another question we have here. Someone has asked, how effective is email marketing? Would you like to answer this? Because this one is...
Yeah, so for email marketing, yeah, when I saw that question, I was excited because I don't know if that question came in before the end of the story about Target stores. So what Target stores did was email marketing. But what they how effective email marketing is how targeted the email marketing is, right? You don't just blow out, you send out an email to 9 million people, right? These people have different problems. They have different things disturbing them. You sent 2 products, one Bluetooth speaker and one hairbrush, right? In the world, in a population of 9 million people, honestly, maybe only 2 people will be thinking about Bluetooth speaker at a particular point in time, and 1 person thinking about a hairbrush. And these people are thinking about different things at the same time. And that's where your ability to harness the power of data comes in. Email marketing is only going to be as effective as how tailored it is, or how unique or how targeted it is. If you are able to have the data for those 9 million people, you know what they need, not just what they need or what they like, what they need at that time. So somebody is about rushing out to go to the market. Somebody told me, a friend of mine told me something, and he says till now he's still afraid, he's still scared. He said he was discussing with a superior about creating like a program or a code, the software. So he was still talking with his boss about creating that software. Then he went back to his desk, and then he saw an email from India with a price quotation for that kind of software. He looked around. He was afraid because then both of us were discussing the conspiracy around how technology giants are listening into our conversations, how that our privacy is no more assured, and all those kind of stuff, right? I know that companies have gone overboard with our data. They've gone overboard with our data, and they are using it to to their advantage, to the best of their advantage. But I'm saying within the ambits of the law and within the limits of privacy, and seeing that you do not infringe on anybody's privacy right, with as much data as possible, email marketing will be effective when it is tailored to meet somebody's specific need at that moment. And if you see an email that is speaking to something that you are thinking about doing within 5 or 10 days, and it's giving you a discount to get it done now, you will most likely react, you will most likely act on that email. So I think it's effective because a whole lot of people are jumping on devices, mobile devices. Today, there's no mobile phone. Maybe there are, but I don't think there's any smartphone that you can operate and enjoy all the benefits of all the app stores without having an email address, right? You typically have to have like a Google address, a Gmail address, and when you log on, it means you can receive email. And so I think is the largest place for you to play, aside social media, like Elizabeth has said, and it is effective to the level of how diligent you are in mining customer data and creating targeted adverts, discounts that meet people's unique needs. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes, very, very effective.
Okay, thank you so much, Chukuma, for that. I'd also like to add a few things to how effective email marketing can be, because you see, email, like Chukuma rightly said, it's mobile first. Emails are on your mobile phones, and I mean, you get this notification on your phone. I think everybody that looks at, when you get a notification on your phone, you look at it. When you get an email, you read it. Now imagine if your business was getting that much attention from everybody's mobile phone, handheld device. So email marketing is very, very effective if you run an e-commerce store, because this is how you are able to monitor and track what people are doing on your website, and then you are sending them immediately emails, marketing emails that you have pre-programmed to speak to whatever action that anybody takes on your website. So email marketing is a very, very effective tool if you want to increase sales on your e-commerce website. Email marketing is also great to nurture leads. Like, say you have people opting into different offers that you have put up on your website, and then they just opted in, they haven't taken any further action. So you have a bunch of email addresses in your email marketing software just sitting there. No, they're not doing anything. You can actually groom those guys who have engaged or interacted with your website at one point or the other. You can actually groom them, nurture them, and before you know it, they begin to buy from you. And if you do email marketing right, you can actually turn your website visitors into your brand ambassadors that you're not paying a dime to market your brand for you and talk about your business or services to their friends, their colleagues, their family members. So I just want to say that email marketing is a very effective tool for businesses. And if you're not using it, you need to definitely add that to your digital strategy if you want to make more sales or thrive in this COVID economy. So I hope we answered your question, Mr. Ogene. And I think we don't have any other questions on here. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to you. First, our keynote speaker, Chukuma, thank you for making it to the webinar. Thank you for the amazing strategies. In fact, I hope that these guys will still call us and they don't just run to implement these strategies on their own. But of course, you can't do it alone. You definitely need the help of a digital agency to help you implement a lot of these strategies, unless you have a big digital team in-house in your own organization. But thank you so much, Kuma. It was amazing to have you on board, and it was just great I took some notes actually, and I hope that you guys took some notes as well. Thank you so much, Chukuma.
My pleasure, Elizabeth.
All right, and thank you so much to everyone who joined in on this webinar. Please, at the end of this webinar, there is a survey that you should take just to tell us about how impactful this webinar was for you and if you learned something new. Thank you so much for taking the time off of your busy schedule to join us. And this is where we end the webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye-bye.